The event is called FARMtastic. It was the idea of Extension Agent Julie White and County Farm Bureau Women's Chair Nelda Starks.
FARMtastic is a hands-on agriculture education program for third graders that Nelda and I created for Oktibbeha County originally, and it has expanded to the Golden Triangle. Kids see anything from barnyard animals to crops grown in the field to horticulture, things that are grown in their garden. They see things from the forest industry. They see anything to do with toys that they play with on a daily basis and how those are important, how agriculture is important to those. Their first stop is in the barnyard, where they experience all of the animals that you would typically see on a farm here in Mississippi.
The students get to see what it's like to milk a cow, and then they get to take some of that milk and make butter. They see a variety of animals, including cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, and horses. But their favorite is the baby chicks. FARMtastic is divided into different rooms, and the kids spend about 15 minutes in each room. After the barnyard animals, they move to the mighty crops.
And here they get to see the crops that are grown in Mississippi, particularly cotton, corn, and soybeans. We also have sweet potatoes and peanuts there. They do a bean dig where they dig for bean products. At the corn station, they pin the ear on the corn. And then the cotton station, they get to see cotton being ginned. The sweet potatoes and the peanuts, they get to the exposure to those underground crops that they don't think about where they come from. And then in the wheat station, we're actually giving them a pancake.
The next station is called Wonder Plants.
In Wonder Plants, they come in and they do a paw print that is a bully paw. From there, their class will actually plant 3 different types of winter crops that they can actually take back to their classrooms and grow. Then they do a worm dig where they actually get to dig in the soil and dig for worms. Then we also have somebody there talking about soil and why it is important to agriculture. Then they move to the pollinators where they learn about why bees and other insects are important to agriculture. Then they learn about the garden and how we grow crops in our gardens at different times of year and how those make it from the garden to our plates.
After that, the kids enter the enchanted forest.
They come into a forest area, the first thing they get is a tree cookie. And that's not an edible cookie. That is a cookie made out of a tree that's cut into a slice. And we use that for their name tag. They get to write their name on it and wear it around their neck, so that's their name tag for the day. They get to count the rings on stumps so they can see what the age of a tree is. They get to see a Christmas tree and they relate that to the fact that it is grown in a forest.
The favorite station for most kids is the one called Farm Toys.
This year we decided to add farm toys because we wanted the kids to see why it is important to have agriculture involved in football, baseball, basketball, golf, fishing, and last but not least, the horse arena. And so they come into that station and they learn about why agriculture is important to each of those sports that they usually participate in, and then they get a chance to play each of those sports while they're in that room.
The last stop is called the marketplace.
So we want them to realize that everything they buy in the grocery store, at the department store, the hardware store, the automotive shop, all of those stores that are in a town have something to do with agriculture. We also put a school there because we wanted them to make sure that because their crayons and glue and other products that they use daily, paper, come from agriculture, we want them to know that everything they use in their daily lives comes from that. We have a farmer's market set up in the middle of the stop so they can see fresh vegetables and canned goods and things like that. We also included a Farm Bureau building and an extension office there so they can relate to where agriculture information comes from.
FARMtastic started off as a one-county effort, but now has blossomed into a traveling exhibit. For their efforts, Julie and Nelda were presented with Farm Bureau's Ag Ambassador Award at last year's state convention.